today talking about Hindutva and the empowerment of the Hindu society through that philosophy of Hindutva. Today you're trying to actually inspire a lot of youth to become rashtrawadis.
Yes.
Don't you think there is a danger that all these youth that you're speaking to, that you're inspiring, may grow in a certain way by misconstruing the whole idea of dharma, by actually looking at it as only for the purpose of a few things?
See, first of all, the possibility of corruption down the road is always a possibility. Any human organization ever in history, some corruption has creeped in. It depends on the leader to be alert about it. Yes, I make conscious effort that my disciples look at Hindutva in its true spiritual meaning, and they don't start using it for some petty emotional things to get some selfish means. I am very alert about it.
Because the last time there was this upsurge of this awareness about Hindutva, and also a lot of people got motivated about Hindutva, and this whole movement for protecting the ideals of Hindutva. Ultimately what actually happened was a lot of people got the license to open their own temples and get the public protection for it, so they could do anything and everything with it. So do you actually fear that kind of a thing happening down the line, that it can always be misinterpreted and only some people may actually take arrogate themselves with such authority and impunity?
You are very true.
Arrogate to themselves such authority.
Yes. See, let me tell you one thing. It is a fundamental truth of this world. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And just like a physicist who is designing an aerospace should take into law of gravity into consideration while building up this spiritual movement, yes, I have taken this aspect into consideration. But let me tell you one core strength of a mass movement. In a mass movement, there is something known as self-check and balances. If you are clear enough about the ideology of Hindutva and how rashtrawaad should evolve out of it, if you are very clear about one thing, that the fundamental of Hindutva is to transcend selfishness and fear, to be selfless, to be fearless, and to be egoless is the beginning of Hindutva. Once this ideology is clear to everyone, a person who suppose becomes a political leader out of this spiritual movement, if he shows the trait of ego, selfishness, the same society which has been cultured in this value system will oppose this. So I am talking about creating the right kind of mass awareness, because if there is mass consciousness, there is a by default built-in check and balance.
What are the ideals of Hindutva?
See, the ideals of Hindutva, if I have to express in one line, is, as I said, becoming niswarth, becoming nirbhik, to do that which is righteous. Now, those people who have lived such a life, because it is very easy to say it theoretically, but we need some standard lives who have really lived this, then I will say, in my eyes, the first and foremost is Prabhu Shri Ram, Prabhu Shri Krishna, and in recent times, Maharishi Chanakya, because he was the first person to understand the importance of Akhanda Bharat and the danger of external civilizational values which are not spiritually enlightened, harming the great civilizational spiritual values of India. And in very recent times, I'll say, definitely Swami Vivekananda, Maharishi Aurobindo, but more than them, I will say Samarth Ramdas. And let me explain why. Because when Aurangzeb was imposing religious extremism to the worst level on India, when the power was tilted in one direction, in one barbaric direction, one simple boy, Samarth Ramdas, decides It should not be tolerated because it is wrong spiritually. One boy against the mighty empire of Mughal. But he went to each and every individual, invoked Shaurya, invoked Rashtrabhiman. He went to each and every village, established Hanuman Mandir and Akhadas. He inspired youth to realize fearlessness, Ram Tatva, put Hanumanji as the ideal, and he created such a network of spiritually enlightened people that out of that network Shivaji Maharaj evolved and put an end to Mughal supremacy on India. To me, the life of Samarth Ramdas and Shivaji Maharaj are the very ideal life in today's time.
So you're saying just spirituality is not sufficient.
Yes.
For instance, you talk about entrepreneurship and
Yes.
innovation.
Yes.
How would these things help the Hindu society?
Yes. Wonderful question. See, as I said, Hindutva is the way of life. Economic empowerment of the country, of the masses, of the individual is an equally important aspect of Hindutva. Now let me come to Artha Shastra, because that relates to your question. The Indian economic model has been to consume less, produce more, import less, export more. That is, in today's terms, fiscal prudence. So, by promoting entrepreneurship among youth, thereby promoting positive constructive thinking among youth, by promoting innovation among youth, by making India to consume less, produce more, import less, export more, on that basis of fiscal prudence and economic self-reliance, a social welfare state, if it is built, it summarizes the economic concept of Ram Rajya and the essence of Artha Shastra.
Okay.
When this is realized, three things happen at the same time. When youth is inspired in this positive direction, number one, he gets a higher goal in his life. So obviously he is not distracted by petty things. His youth energy is not distracted to lower dimensions. And when the country consumes less, produces more, imports less, exports more, on this basis of fiscal prudence, a welfare state is built, can be sustainably built, and that is the core concept of Ram Rajya and the essence of Artha Shastra.
But today, there are very important things that you speak about your own organization. The salient features are that you don't encourage sannyasa, or you actually have a lot of people who are grahasthas, who are your shishyas. And the second thing is that you don't accept contributions and donations, and it's like a cooperative movement. And the third thing is that you believe that your shishyas, they should be doing what they do otherwise in their regular life and still contribute to spirituality.
Yes. See, as I said, spirituality essentially is the holistic way of life. You cannot be spiritual for 8 hours a day and materialistic for rest hours of day. So, fundamentally in our spiritual movement, what we propagate is you should first respect nature and the natural requirement of your body. Brahmacharya should not be imposed just so that you want to pretend to be spiritual. The physical requirements of the body at the right age should be respected. In the same way, the natural economic requirement of human survival also needs to be respected. Why I don't accept a single rupee donation in any kind and form is because the moment you start accepting donations in the name of dharma and adhyatma, your focus is on earning money, not spreading adhyatma.
Today you're saying as a grahastha you wear khavi,
Yes.
saffron.
Yes.
What is the reason?
The simple reason is the color saffron, khavi, signifies renunciation, and renunciation means renunciation of ego and attachments. Suppose someone says, I have renounced worldly life, in sense I have not married, but if he is holding on to his मैं, I, ego, his attachments, then he is just faking spirituality. Spirituality should be lived in its wholeness like Prabhu Shri Ram lived, being a grahast, Being a king, he fulfilled all his duties and yet he was detached. See, there is a fundamental difference. Prabhu Shri Ram was also a father and Dhritarashtra was also a father. But Prabhu Shri Ram, because he understood his duties as a king, made sure that his children are born in a Rishi's ashram, not in the palace, so that his children are born and brought up in a environment of hermitage, so that they understand day-to-day life and they can become better kings. Whereas Dhritarashtra was so attached to Duryodhana that whatever he was doing, right or wrong, he agreed with it, he supported it. Both were fathers. Prabhu Shri Ram was father, Dhritarashtra was father.
You actually don't support your devotees or your disciples to fall at your feet and just accept you blindly.
No.
You want them to question you.
Yes.
And you want them to also, if need be, fight with you.
Yes. Not only fight. I ask my disciples to watch me in the day, during the day what I am doing, as well as what I do during the night. As Ramakrishna Paramahansa said, that a spiritual master should be observed during the day and the night, and only if you are comfortable with his conduct should be accepted. See, the fundamental truth is divinity, spirituality and truth needs to be realized, not mugged up. Okay. You cannot memorize Ramcharitamanas and say, I have realized Ram. You have to live the life of a Ram to realize Ram.
Okay. But you have started your movement in a lot of states. You actually have started from Kutch to Arunachal Pradesh,
Yes.
and from Kashmir to Kanyakumari,
Yes.
is what
Yes.
you say. And you have your ashrams in
Madhya
Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat and Maharashtra also, and now you're starting in Karnataka. But you have your activity in kind of a full-fledged manner in Madhya Pradesh, and you have this village level activity
Yes.
where you have a small committee kind of thing also. One of the reasons is that you want to also make it a politically empowered kind of a unit, where people are not just aware of their spiritual requirements in life, but also how they need to function in a society
and their duties towards the nation.
Okay. So how are you able to achieve this as your organization grows bigger and bigger?
Yes. See, let me first tell you that our spiritual movement is in its most mature form in Madhya Pradesh, spreading across India. Now in Madhya Pradesh, I have made 3 avenues as the core working area of our spiritual movement: holistic rural development, tribal welfare, agricultural reforms. Now India is a Krishi Pradhana Desha. Bharatvarsh is a Krishi Pradhana Desha. So making sure that the right kind of seed, fertilizer, irrigation facility reaches to each and every farmer is a part of our spiritual endeavor. We have linked holistic rural development, tribal welfare with the Hindutva, thereby making the common man relate with the spiritual essence of Hindutva on a day-to-day basis. Number 2, in India, panchayats are a wonderful concept. Even more than that, cooperative societies, if run in the right spirit, can bring lot of empowerment. But unfortunately, these are also the level where the maximum corruption happens. So when we go to a village and spiritually evolve the entire society of the village, we immediately make sure that the panchayat is making sure that the funds received by them goes to the right kind of projects in its entirety. No cuts, no commission. At the same time, the cooperative committees, which are entrusted with the duty of providing the government funds to the below poverty line families, they are actually doing it basically through spiritual enlightenment. We remove corruption of the mind and the spirit.
But today, there is this concept in the minds of a lot of people. A person who is overly religious tends to be communal. So how do you define a Rashtravadi, Hindutvavadi Hindu?
See, first of all, we need to make a distinction between being religious and being spiritual. A person who is religious, someone feels that he is basically ritualistic. He is caught up in doing the rituals faithfully. Being spiritual is what I just explained, realizing your true self. So, if a person is spiritual, if a person understands that this entire universe is the extension of the same divine truth, same divine power, he can never be communal. But if by communal you mean, communal also has an Oxford Dictionary meaning of being interested in the welfare of the community,
okay.
then there is no harm in becoming communal.
No, but how would a Hindutvavadi Hindu or somebody who believes in Ram Tatva conduct himself in the society? How should he relate to other people belonging to other religions?
Okay. So your fundamental question is that what will be the behavior of a Hindutvadi person when he is interacting with a person of a different religion? The point is, the Hindutvadi person will assess a person he is meeting by the value system he believes in. If a Hindutvadi person meets a person or a system or an organization which believes in tolerance, which believes in inclusiveness, he will behave likewise. But if a Hindutvadi person meets a person, organization, system, thought process which is exclusivist, which says that only I am correct, everyone else is wrong, then he will denounce it, because he knows that there are as many ways to realize God as there are human beings on the planet Earth. See, being udar doesn't mean you become a fool.
You've spoken so much about Hindutvavad till now, or Hindutva and rashtrawaad most importantly. But people have come to understand that Hindutvavad or Hindutva has been in recent times just been an instrument to capture power. So when you two talk about this, people may misunderstand you, thinking that maybe this is one of the ways, perhaps a tricky way for you to actually reach that goal, perhaps in a covert manner. What do you say about that?
First of all, I would like to assure you, and through you everyone, that I have no other hidden agenda. And honest assurance is the best what I can give.
But you have spoken for Narendra Modi.
Yes, I have appreciated the good governance and the positive energy which Narendra Modi has brought to Gujarat, especially during this vibrant Gujarat summit of 2013. I strongly believe that we need political leadership in today's time which has the clarity of national development and national integrity. I want a political leadership for India which doesn't encourages
And it's
vote
only
bank
Narendra
politics.
Modi.
No, let me complete.
Okay.
I don't appreciate that kind of political system or political leadership of India which indulges in vote bank politics, or just to appease a certain section of India or perceived a certain section of India, they compromise with the wider national interest. I want a leadership who can talk tough and call the bluff of Pakistan when they promote terrorism in India. And that has to be done with uncompromising nationalist spirit. And yes, I see that spirit in Narendra Bhai Modi, but to say that it exists only in Narendra Bhai Modi may be stretching it a bit far. If we analyze each and every political leader by political leader, we may find some more people. But why Narendra Modi is because he has the guts to make his thought process available to the people. See, there is one more thing. It is quite possible that in many political parties there are people like Narendra Modi. They should also come out like he has done and tell their thought processes to us.
Guruji, it was quite interesting speaking to you, because you seem to be speaking things in a way a lot of youth may be able to understand, that could actually explain the kind of youth support that you've been getting in your spiritual movement. All the best on behalf of the channel. Thank you very much.
The pleasure has always been mine. Om Namah Shivaya. Dhanyavad.
ನಮ್ಮದು ಸುದ್ದಿಗಾಗಿ ಸುದ್ದಿಯಲ್ಲ.
ನಿಖರ, ಪ್ರಖರ,
ಜನಪರ.
ವಿಶ್ವಾಸಾರ್ಹ. ವೀಕ್ಷಿಸಿ ಉದಯ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಚಾನೆಲ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ಉದಯ ನ್ಯೂಸ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಈಗ ಹೆಡ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್. ರಾಜ್ಯಾದ್ಯಂತ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ವೈದ್ಯರ ಮುಷ್ಕರ, ತುರ್ತು ಚಿಕಿತ್ಸೆಗೂ ತಟ್ಟಿದ ಬಿಸಿ, ಆಸ್ಪತ್ರೆ